You see what I'm saying?
Well, I
Because
think the part of the issue is just in general, and I know it's in a man's nature to want power, want control, things like that. But I mean, just for me in general, I don't subscribe to the whole alpha, beta, nothing. I just think a lot of times we try to put labels on stuff that's really just the human experience in general, in terms of the way
I
males
don't know,
may
Miss Rachel.
behave. No,
Women literally naturally create that hierarchy themselves.
no,
So
no, what I'm saying is that when we do that, like when we say alpha or we say beta, we're pigeonholing men into a specific way as to the way a man should be. And in regards to that, to me, that limits the variance that men express their masculinity. Like, we're trying to look at it as a social construct and say this is the way all men should be to be a man, right? But if you
Mhm.
have any men that may deviate from that, now they're beta, but that doesn't make them any less
So this is
masculine.
this
So that's
so
why
this
I
is
don't.
actually important.
Trigger Mike,
This
give
is
me a
actually
second.
important to know. Hold on real quick, this is actually important to know. Only only modern people have made beta a bad thing. It is so listen to me right now. This is actually this is what you call a born alpha. I'm a born alpha. The shit is stressful as fuck to me. The person that I was uh not only raised to be as the first person to fan, I'm the first person with my last name born in America. I was prophesized by my village in Nigeria to do all this shit, right? That while I was here for my family back home. People pray for me back there. They send me prayers in the prayer group on Instagram. I had to put them in the block box, right? So what it means is that people push me to the front in everything I do to the point where I no longer feel comfortable if I'm not in command. I get married. My father-in-law praises me, right? To say, you are the future. I will let you lead my. But that stuff makes me sick to my stomach, the amount of pressure it puts on me to the point where I say, I'll look at someone who doesn't have these responsibilities, i.e., a beta male, and say, I'm envious of you because I have the pressure to perform at 100% in everything I do. So it's not necessarily a thing where alpha is the big dog on campus. He literally works the hardest. He has the most expectations on him. And being a beta is not a bad thing. It's literally just having the freedom to be the average man. William, what the royal family, is the alpha. He's pushed. You could see it on his face at every meeting. He is miserable. His brother gets to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. He's jealous of him. And his brother's the beta.
So in that regard, I would think that the brother is the alpha because he's not tied to all the rules, and the other guy is living his life the way that he wants to. And I thought that that's what alphas do. They make
No.
their rules, they
So
set
this is
the
a
course.
perfect. Hold on. Let me get
Wait,
this out.
hold
Sorry,
on. They
this is
make
a
the rules, they set the course for their lives the way that
that is
they
not
see
what
fit.
alphas do. So this person said, "Trigger Mike, you're not an alpha. You're a sigma." That is absolutely 100% incorrect. I am an alpha. Sigma males are loners. Sigma males are the lone wolves. They can exist in a dominant capacity that resembles alpha outside of the group. The reason why I identify as an alpha, and that's why I gave you that story, all of my accolades and everything I accomplish has to be tied to the betterment of the group. I cannot excommunicate myself from my family. When my siblings need money, my mom is the first one to call. I'm the first one they call. When my brother needs a down payment on his what for this, I'm the first one. Everything I do is tied to that group. So therefore, I'm an alpha by default. Sigmas get to be the lone wolf, get to put off. I ain't fucking with none of y'all, and he's just out here. That's a sigma male. So this guy is incorrect. That's what a sigma male is.
You know what? I'm just my
Let
only
me
complaint about that is that to me, I don't care about you can be alpha, beta, sigma, whatever. Are you the leader that you're supposed to be in your own home? Because the rest of that stuff is just like, okay, are you
And,
leading your household to
hey,
where it's supposed
you
to
know,
go?
I'll
Then
even make this assertion real quick. This is betas are probably the best fathers in America. They're the ones that spend time with their kids. Alphas ain't got time for none of that shit. Alphas are the people who are doing things for the betterment of society to where they're doing it at such a high rate they neglect their own children.
So I want to jump in here because Black Lexicon asked
I
a
think I
good
want a
question
beta.
about how it is I know so much about conversation, right? So as the firstborn, regardless of the fact that I'm female, as the firstborn of a very traditional household, I have been bred to be a wife from like the age of like, I don't know, 6, 7, before I was double digits, right? Like that wifey training that men talk about, like that has been instilled in me through and through from prepubescent age.
You were doing dishes standing on a stool, right?
1000%. I didn't even get the stool. We didn't have stools when I was coming up, right?
Don't be
Like,
mad. Don't be
you
mad,
had
Miss
to
Piggy.
yeah, I'm jealous of the girls that have stools. We had to be up on our tippy toes. You know what I mean? So here's the thing, right? Is like, as much as there is a responsibility on the men, there's a responsibility for the woman who is the second, the matriarch in training, right? There's an equal amount of responsibility that is also very different. As much as the responsibilities of a woman are significantly different than the responsibilities of a man, there is still the installation of values on the up and coming matriarch to understand what it is that she needs to be as a support system to continue the legacy of family, the values of family, regardless of religion, regardless of the era that you live in, regardless of like time standing, right? So I think this idea that women are like these, as Mr. Lecco would say, these helpless children that don't understand how to navigate society really needs to be thrown away, because that's not the reality of the majority of women. The majority of women are taught this is what it means to be a wife. This is what it means to lead a household. This is what it means to, like, once you have sons, what it means to like instill these values, right? Because if you are the trigger mics of the world, who are the type of men who are going to go out there and collect the resources that they need to, whether you are a participant in that or not, there is still a responsibility as a woman to instill the values of the leader that you have chosen into your nuclear family. We cannot forget the importance and the value of that. That's why these single parent households are such a freaking problem, because there is no man who is dictating what the values of this household is. So this woman is dictating these values on her own free will. And that's not worked. So let's not pretend that a woman who is reinstilling the values of the men that she's chosen to lead is not an important pillar of society. We cannot pretend that the woman who is next to her alpha is not an important part to the hierarchy of the way the society works. The eldest daughter who is going into marriage with who is should be a stereotypically eldest son, right? That does not create a dynamic for all of the siblings on both sides of the family. We can't pretend like these things are not important in society, because if we do that, we start to devalue what it is that a woman is there for. And then we get into the conversation of women are only as valuable as their vaginas. Women have more inherent value than just their vaginas, because if vaginas were really it, if we're going to be honest, if vaginas were really it, these men would be marrying these 304s. These men would be marrying the women who aesthetically look good, whose box stays wettest the longest, but they're not. They're looking for women who have the capacity and capability of receiving the values that that man has and are able to transcribe it into the next generation. That's truly the value of a woman. The value of a woman is in the inability for that man's capability of being present at that moment. That doesn't mean he's absent altogether. In that moment, she's able to intermediate that role. That's her job. That's her value, is to say to the next generation, hey, your dad's not right here right now, but when he is, he's going to reiterate the exact same thing that I'm doing and I'm saying, right? That's her job, is to be like, hey, listen, in your dad's absence for a temporary time, here are the things I'm going to fill in those gaps. It's not about cooking, it's not about cleaning, it's not about doing dishes, because if you're really that guy financially, you can offset those things. If you're not, then okay, your woman needs to pitch in. But this is not the value of a woman. The value of a woman is to be able to stand in as your substitute when you are not physically capable of being there. That's really the value of a woman. And if you're not choosing women based on that capability, I will say this, as much as the men say it about women, you're choosing the wrong woman.
Look at Shane.
She read
I woke up and Dawes was still talking. Look, I love y'all.
Back chat.
Need that airplane emoji, huh?
Don't worry, y'all. We get it popping.
And the plane.
Listen, that hair was braided about 30 minutes ago, but I let y'all ride for 30 minutes. Please.
AP got his bonnet on. He trying to tell y'all something.
No, he did not.
AP done hit the chat, the back chat, the
He done braided his hair.
I've never seen a bonnet with a headset. Like what?
Like,
That's
it's
crazy. That's crazy.
Hilarious. So you guys, thank you guys so much. Anybody have any last quick final thoughts?
Ladies, these men ain't shit. If you need to send me money so I can continue to say that they ain't shit, I'm gonna post my cash out. It's always the
I
man's
don't know who was fun.
Marcus, you know the guests go first, right? So they could drop off, right?
See, that's the
He
problem.
is a guest.
They may
That's,
want to.
that's his. Oh, that's the alter ego talking right now. That's the guest. Did you guys, Baron and Money? Did you guys have anything that you would like to say?
Close out.
Nah, it's 4 hours and y'all been doing this. I'm good. I'm good. We don't need to keep it going.
Okay. Anybody else wanted to
Ladies, protect your box.
protect the ball?
They're not gonna listen.
I know y'all ain't gonna listen worth a damn.
Shoot,
Protect
I am. I'm the queen of just say no.
I'm not.
But no, in all Jesus Christ. No, in all seriousness.
married.
I saw me glowing last week.
I mean, you're married.
All right,
We're
you're
talking
right.
about single people.
You're right, Miss Taken. You're right. Hey, for all you single ladies, that anyway, I'm gonna be nice. All you single ladies, protect your box. If you're looking to be married, protect your box. If you're not looking to be married, go ahead and throw it out there. It's up to you.
Speaking of
throw it out
bucket.
there. I mean, there are health concerns that come with that.
Right.
There are health concerns that come with that.
That's on them. They throwing it out there anyway.
Throw that ass in a circle.
Let's read this super chat before we go. The real Pookie, $5. Men determine who alphas are. Not your family, not your boss, not your career, not women. Trigger Mike, you are wrong.
I ain't wrong.
Okay, we cannot.
How you gonna be a leader if nobody's willing to follow you?
Right. Society
Your
determines
community
if you're an
determines.
alpha.
Yeah, if you were alpha. Hey,
So Trigger Mike, you can't be an alpha and be with your kids a lot, right?
no, you can, but what I'm saying is that
oh Lord,
the demands of the group are what you're tied to.
It's just took back off again. It's
and now I said you can't be alpha.
I guess what my question was about, if you have a bunch of alphas together in a room, if you're an alpha amongst your family or alpha, you said in society, when you put a bunch of alphas in a room, in that situation, what happens? Because I'm just comparing it to the animal kingdom, so
you can't be alpha.
It can be a tale of two extremes. It'll be a tale of two extremes. They either get along really well because they understand each other's plight, or they just butt heads. But if it's almost as if you go to a directors meeting and a bunch of directors are in the room talking. Everybody's trying to show their hubris. Everybody's trying to show their bravado. Just depends.
That's my point. So which
Somebody's
one
got-
becomes the alpha in that situation?
Trigger Mike, one of the things I've been trying to work on is not outshining the master. So I've purposely been trying to put myself in positions where take over. That's because I've had an issue with.
I broke that rule about 10 times in my career.
So that's The Art of War. If you haven't read it, definitely recommend. It is a fantastic read. And don't read the Pulse notes. Definitely go through the whole book. As a woman, I'm going to speak. This is a different vantage point. What happens when you get a bunch of alphas in a room is they, whether they realize it or not, subconsciously at least, create a hierarchy of alphas.
Yep, they do.
The same way that any organization has an org chart where like you have your top, you have your other alphas, and then everybody else that goes under them, and then you have all these mini org charts that go under all those people. It's the same thing. You have your org chart of alphas.
So what she's basically saying is that
so the ones that real quick for clarification with what you're saying. So whoever's at the top of that chart is the alphas underneath. Now, do their position change to beta?
No. Because this, I mean, if nobody, the purpose of alpha in that word is that what you'll see in, like, let's use the drug game, for example. If you got a dope boy that's really popping and he's now the distro, he's gonna try to become the connect. They all try to take out the top dog, right? So what I'm saying, if Lil Durk, Lil Baby and Gunna walked into a room with Jay-Z, when Jay-Z decided to stand up and start talking, they would all shut the fuck up. They're all rappers at the top of their game. They already know who top dog is. Right, so that's the effect. But when they go back to their own individual area, their own individual neighborhood, Jay-Z can't go there talking shit to them because he could be like, "Yo, you know where you at? This we not in Marcy Projects, dude, because you just came to another alpha's territory trying to disrespect them." That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay.